Hey, my name's George Holliday. I am a freelance songwriter and producer. We're in Croatia at the minute at festivals because I'm doing some songwriting and some performing with some artists. I have loads of friends that are guitarists and singers, and I was so jealous of them just getting on planes and going like sitting on a beach and recording and writing really cool music. And then as a keys player, I never got the opportunity to do that. So I was going to buy a Sprinter van, and then my mum actually found this bus and she was like, I know this isn't what you're looking for, but are you interested in going to check this out? And then the next day I put the deposit down. So now it's a 10-metre vehicle. I have an HGV license to drive like 30 tons now. And now I live in it full time as well. I never thought I'd like want to live full time in a van or a bus, and absolutely love it. Having musicians call me and say, I really want to go to Italy, I don't know what the sound of Italy is like. I can take them there and then we can just live and travel. It's just like a texture that you can't get in a studio. This is my Mercedes. It's an 814 is the model. Diesel engine, 4.5 litres. Gets about 20 miles to the gallon. Yeah, 2001 model. It's only done like 85,000 miles. Used to be an old library bus. In the UK, they just go around schools. So it used to be owned by the council, so it was serviced every 3,000 miles. We've got 3 solar panels on top, which gives us, I think it's 600 watts of power. We've got the equivalent of this for our leisure, which is underneath the bed. These are our big batteries that like run the bus. These are 155 amp hours each, so quite a lot. And they have gone flat on us once, which is not fun because you can't move the whole bus without these working. Another thing that I love about this bus is like here, you can block off all the isolators. When we're stood still, I can turn that off. And then I can also isolate and turn off all my lights. So like if I'm going out for the evening, I can turn that off and know that everything's not draining any battery. We have a hookup, but I rarely use it actually because most of the time we try to do like wild camping as much as possible. Tech geeky stuff for all the electrics. So we have like our isolator switches, fuse boxes. I have a battery charger in here that's running for like 24 volts. It also charges in 12 volt, but our whole system on here is 24 volt. 24 volts, simple answer is just because all the gear I already use is 24 volts. My favorite little feature is this reversing camera. In the back here, I have a huge heater. Keep all my gas, and we have all of our like isolators so that when we're driving, we can just lock it all off. It makes me feel super safe, but then I also keep my barbecue in here. This is like the exhaust from the boiler that's like inside for the heater. I always go through the driver's door. Reason being is all the other doors are like bolted from the inside for extra security. And then on the outside, I have this great big lock called a Ufo Lock. These are really great because you can't like just wrench, all the screws are on the inside. You can't just like wrench them off. So inside, if you wanna come on in. My dad is a carpenter, so he helped me with like cupboards and built the stairs and helped with like a lot of the decor in the kitchen and helped with ideas. So I brought a lot of ideas to the table and he'd sit there and go, nah, you don't want to do that. Or he'd sit there and go, yeah, cool, I think you should do it like this though, in a different way. So like these tables fold flat, I would have just built solid tables. So his ideas have been great. Yeah, he was a big part of like helping make this like a reality. Very much like an ordinary guy that's just tried to build something. So, you know, I'm a musician, not like a craftsman. It was a tough process, but like, I think you've just got to throw yourself in and learn along the way. The main focus of building this bus was that I wanted a studio in it. The first bit that I was like thinking about and how much do I need. As a producer, I used to have loads more gear, like loads of outboard gear here and there in my little studio at home. With technology being so good, I was just like, how much do I need to have? And really, it's speakers. As a keys player, I needed a keyboard and a laptop full of sounds. Adam A7 speakers. I've built like a bit of a bass trap wall behind this, which is useful as well because that's part of where the door goes to. It only came to here, but it's now like a big bass trap wall, which is great because I don't need a sub on here now. My favorite keyboard ever is the Nord Stage 2. We have Aston microphones on board. They pretty much record anything, not just vocals, like they're great for strings and guitars. Focusrite is what we use for our interfaces because they're just super small and light and easy. Sometimes we do like video work for brands and it means we can like pull up into their business, go in and start filming and doing all the things we need to do. And then we come back here, start editing on the screens, and then by the end of their working day, we can get the bosses in to sit down and literally watch what we've been doing. I guess the laptop is like the workhorse of everything. Up front, I really wanted an area that we could all like sit down on, have meetings and like sit and chat, but also people can sit and get away from the writing session a little bit, but still be involved in it. So these 3 chairs all spin like individually, and they lock in place for like driving and stuff. And here is the screen, the reverse camera, like my favorite thing. It's black and white and sometimes it flickers, but what you can't do with new TVs is like whack it. And you can whack this one and it works. If I whacked that one, it would break. This was one of my favorite features when I got it as a library bus. That was originally in here and I wanted to keep it. So when I have guests, this is one of the beds. It hides all of the tech stuff. So I have a little lock on this side that slides out. Behind here, I keep all my I've got a water tank, 75-litre water tank, which isn't that big, but it works out great for like 2 people living on here. My heater, sleeping bags for people when they're in the tent. We have a tent on board, so we can keep all that stuff, like Wi-Fi router box, just bits and bobs you don't need that often. Back drops down, and there you have a bed. But it means we can have like, 2 extra people, and we also have a Z bed that goes down here, so we can sleep like 5 people, but it gets quite cramped, so we don't tend to do that too often. Kitchen was like something I really wanted to keep feeling like it was in a flat. I wanted an actual like cooker because I really love cooking. It's my way to switch off. Gas for when we're off grid, and when we're plugged in, it's also electric, which is super useful, but my main thing was that I wanted a gas like fire cooker. Pretty standard sink, but most people like love that this thing drops down just to create more counter space. And we also have like a fridge freezer. This one's actually 24 volt, which I've sometimes felt was an issue. If we're like off grid for quite a while, it sucks up a lot of power for like the freezer. So I'm potentially going to downsize to like 12 volt. So back here we've got like a double bedroom. So we have like TV up on the wall, which isn't necessary, but it's so nice to have film nights. Tons of storage. The whole bed as well lifts. I best move this. Whole bed lifts up. I mean, we don't have like a back door, so we couldn't build it up and do like what people do in like transits and sprinter vans. This is the only other alternative to actually saving space under the bed. Batteries are also in like another locker that's underneath there. A full-size wardrobe, hanging shirts. The bathroom's in here. It's quite a basic bathroom. We have a full like electric flushing toilet. Quirky features is the tap becomes the shower. And it's hot water, so you can have like a proper shower. Storage above as well, but keeping it like pretty basic. Small but very satisfying features. All the blinds, you can pull them down and they just stay. IKEA, fully recommend IKEA for stuff like that. The most popular question I get about traveling on this bus is like, how did you afford to do this? And it works out like £6,000 a year is what I'm on track for like so far, like spending wise. The cost of the whole thing to do, I bought it for £11,500, spent £3,500 on it because I was trying to recycle and upcycle as much stuff as possible. Yeah, the whole project was like £15,000. It's definitely cheaper than people think it's going to be. And I know a lot of people that do it that still have their jobs and they don't travel too much, they just live in it because it's just cheaper to do. You can see and experience so much more, like living in a bus, whether you're a creative person or whether you just want to bring your costs down. Anyone that's like not afraid to make some sacrifices in terms of like, you really realise how lucky you are turning on your tap at home, whereas here you've got to think about it a little bit more. It's a small sacrifice to be able to see the world. I don't have a ton of money and I still get a sea view like every day. So that would be my biggest recommendation, is if you want to see the world and change your view every day and feel just like different inspiration from different places, 100% do it.